Hello and welcome to the Hardcore Giveaway and Gamers Club channel. My name is Daniel and today's video is talking about dust filters for your game systems and cleaning and maintenance a little bit. I want to show you guys something. Alright, this is the heatsink of a PS4. Okay, does it look similar to this? This is the heatsink of the first gen Xbox 360. Okay, a little bit wider, got about the same overall surface. Okay, you see that dust building up on the face of that heatsink? Okay, that's exactly what's killing these. I want to show you something. Here's another one, a little bit older. Okay, here's another one, a little bit older. Alright, some guy in the shop decided he was going to take his finger and wipe it on it, but that was all blocked off except for this little corner right over here. Alright, that's basically lint and dust particles building up on the face side of your heatsink, blocking the airflow. So when you look, everybody keeps saying there's got to be a way to filter out the dust. There's got to be a way to filter out the dust. And I got people that are telling me, oh, I went and bought this. This is an amazing product. I want to show you this product. Okay, so they send me this link here to a product that's supposed to be a filter to keep the dust off of your heatsink. Dude, seriously? That is no different. Using this, I'm not joking. Okay, using this is no different than intentionally going to your dryer vent, pulling out the lint and clogging up your your heatsink. You're slowing down the airflow. Truthfully, what would be the difference between air slowing down through these little sponge filters and clogging and slowing down the airflow, as opposed to the dust going through that lint type dust on the face of your heatsink? Not a dang thing. You might as well just play your pillow. You might as well just put a pillowcase over the top of your game system and play it that way. I mean, seriously? This is nothing more than a gimmick to sell you crap. Crap. Alright? This is total crap. I'm sorry, I will put a age limit on this video for me yelling this is crap, but seriously, this is crap. Alright, don't buy this. Never buy this. Don't buy filters. Let me switch back to my regular video so I can talk to you better. Okay, that's better. I wanted to talk to you face to face. Seriously, I can take the dust off of this filter and put it on this, I can take the dust off of this heatsink and put it on this heatsink, and it would still allow more airflow through your PS4 than if you put them filters on the outside. So what are they selling you? They're selling you death of your game system. Total end of story. Yeah, they make it sound good. It's going to filter out the dust before it gets to the heatsink. But I mean, this is like a fluffy material. This will actually allow more airflow through, even at this level, than them filters will. Seriously, I'm not joking. Think. I mean, you can sell ice to Eskimos if you give a good enough pitch. So don't be an Eskimo. Not that Eskimos are stupid, I'm just saying. Okay, don't think I'm saying that. But seriously, just because somebody makes something sound good doesn't mean it is. Just like with the fan modifications, with the thermal regulated fan intercoolers for the Xboxes. They sounded great. They would turn on when the box got hot and turn off after it cools down to a certain level. But instead of the box staying at a nice, even, consistent temperature with the airflow flowing freely across the heatsink and keeping the box running nice and cool the way it's supposed to, they would block the airflow, force the box to overheat, kick on, turn cool it down too quickly, and then repeat the process. So instead of having a nice even flow, your box is sitting there doing this the whole time. Okay? Now, let me explain to you what is causing the majority of the cracking of your solder joints. Okay? Heating up and cooling down. Period. End of discussion. Alright? Anytime something heats up, it expands. Okay? Anytime something cools down, it contracts. I don't care if these things are made out of titanium steel. If you heat it up and you cool it to an excess over and over and over and over again, it will crack. It will burn out components. It will blast caps. All kind of nasty stuff. Okay? So if you intentionally put, I can take dryer lint from a dryer, literally, roll it up into a nice little round strip and put it in the sides of that PS4, and it would work exactly the same as what they're selling you. Okay? It ain't any different than putting that dust layer of lint directly over your heatsink. Alright? It's slowing down. What you want is your box to do what it's supposed to do. Pull the air through the system, through the heatsink, in order to cool the heatsink, and for the PS4s to go through efficiently and quickly enough so that it does not superheat the air, because that air is also used after it cools the chip to cool your power supply. So if you put them filters on, slow the air through your entire system, it's working just like that dust, slowing down the air through that heatsink, causing the air to become much hotter, make your whole box run hotter, and then because that air going through that heatsink is going a lot slower, it becomes a lot hotter, and now it cannot cool your power supply. Your power supply will burn out. Alright? Please, for God's sakes, use some common sense. This is an air-cooled system. If the air cannot freely go through your system, then you have a problem. If you put a filter of any kind on the air going into the system, you're going to slow that air down. Okay? It doesn't matter. If you want to help prevent or slow down dust buildup, get an air purifier for your room. Alright? Don't play in a super hot room. Find a room that's got a cooler temperature, because excessive heat is what is killing these systems. For the majority, anyway. There's always actual component failures, and I really get a kick out of everybody. Oh, Sony, Microsoft, they use cheap, crappy lead solder, and we're going to replace it with the lead-free stuff, and all your problems are going to be solved. That's a lie. That is a flat-out lie. Okay? If Sony and Microsoft were allowed to use leaded solder, they would not use it anyway. Leaded solder has a much lower melting point. It is a lot softer. Them chips are under pressure and run very hot. That leaded solder will collapse over time and eventually make contact with each other, which requires a new reball. Most of these guys cannot reball the CPUs because they don't want to replace all the capacitors that are directly around it, or they that way they just blamed all of every red light on the graphics processor, which was total crap. I've seen people putting up these videos holding up the chip and saying that it's not the solder underneath that's bad, it's the die at the top that becomes detached. That's a total crock of crap. That's not true. That is a flat-out lie. Okay? It is all 100% that solder beneath the chip when it comes to cracked solder joints. Okay? Not every red light is going to be a solder joint. So why would you whip out a heat gun and try to destroy your game system trying to do a reflow on something that may not be your problem? Because if you do something like that, I guarantee you, now it's also your problem. Right? You take a heat gun to a game system, you're going to warp that board, it's going to twist and tweak and twerk and all that stuff. You'll probably wind up with several cracked solder joints on other locations, or you're going to crystallize the solder so bad that you cannot even reball it. Okay? So for God's sakes, don't be buying these stupid filter things that are for the game systems. Don't be buying these stupid fan mods for them. The second your Microsoft or Sony warranty is over, open the system up, clean out the dust, and keep it clean, and you will have a game system that will last 75% or more longer than everybody else's. Because none of these game systems are going to last forever. Okay, I see these repairmen all the time. They talk trash about the lead-free solder, and they talk about tin whiskers, and they talk about how the military got exemptions for it. That's total crap and has nothing to do with your game systems. Alright? I know exactly what that was about. Alright? When the military has rockets and bombs, alright, they're stored for years. And that's the only way a tin whisker is going to form on lead-free solder. And that's if it's stored for years and or is exposed to any kind of moisture or humidity levels, okay, which is usually a result of being stored for years. Alright? Your game systems run so hot it would destroy a tin whisker the second you turned it on, before it ever got long enough to even make contact with the other side. So that's total crap. Alright? The NASA also got the exemption for using the lead-free solder for a lot of their space shuttles and stuff, components and stuff. Why? Because that stuff is also stored for years and years and years before they actually put the whole dang thing together, before they shoot it up into space. For God's sakes, use some common sense. Alright? I'm sorry I am ranting on, but when people are putting out crap just to make a buck off of the kids that is actually selling them something that is going to flat out damage their game system, I get pissed off. And so should you. You should make videos. Tell them I told you that what they are selling is total shit. And nobody should buy it unless they actually want to damage their game systems. I will take all the heat. Right here. All the heat. I actually have schooling in component level electronics. Okay, so you tell everybody I said so. Send them to me if they say that's a lie. And then I'll ask them to prove to me that they have any kind of education on that topic. Because I guarantee you, I don't care who tries to sue me, when it comes to that topic, I will win. I am not joking about this. I am seriously pissed off because people are ripping off children and teaching adults who don't know anything about electronics how to repair electronics using bullshit fake methods. Thank you very much. Stay safe and happy gaming. Oh, and don't forget, I give away close to $100 a month on this channel. I'm giving away your choice of an Xbox One or a PS4 come Christmas. Try to win them all. The more people that come in to win, the more stuff I can actually give away. It's all for fun. For all the kids who can't afford to get anything, all you got to do is post one comment on the video. You're automatically entered. You can help advertise my channel. I can give you more entries. Or if you like, you can become a member and I'll give you more entries. And once we hit a certain level of members, special members only giveaways. But anyway, it's all to spread the word and get the word out about all of these bullshit fake repairs and fake repairmen working for places like GameStop, Play and Trade, Cyborg Games, Computer Guy, Play and Trade, Play and Save, Geek Squad. All of them I have mentioned. I have seen firsthand YouTube educated work when it comes to repairing game systems. Bolt jobs, fan modifications that are extremely damaging for game systems. Hide your number one best early warning indicator of problems, which is in fact the fan speed. Why would you want to force your fan to run full blast 12 volts when your system is perfectly capable of doing that by itself if you wind up with a reasonable amount of dust on the heatsink? Okay? In which case you would say, oh, my fan's running loud, I need to clean it. Now don't use that as an indicator of when you should be cleaning, because by that time it's already causing damage. You want to keep that fan running as quiet as it can, keep that dust out of the box as much as possible, and keep the face side of that heatsink as clean as possible so that the game system can actually do what it was designed to do. And that's keep your system running at a nice, even, consistent temperature from the moment you turn it on to the moment you turn it off. That's all I have to say. Sorry if I drug this out. Stay safe, happy gaming, everybody.